Did I just hear you ask what are Booleans? Are you also wondering what Booleans are? Well, you're in luck. Today is day 8 of 100 days of Python programming, and I will be talking about Booleans. Have you wondered how to use Booleans? This is the video you do not want to miss. Day 8 of Python programming. To the screen. I can't believe it's day 8 already. 1 week down. So day 8 of programming, and in this video I will be talking about Boolean. I'm sure you must have been wondering that what is Boolean. A Boolean in Python represents one or two values, either true or false. So anything, either it's true or either it's false. And it is commonly used in conditional statements, loops, and comparison. So in this video, I would like share with you how you can use Boolean value in conditional statements, loops, and comparison. So the Boolean values are two. They are either true or false, and they are usually case sensitive. So anytime you use Boolean in Python, you have to capitalize the first letter. The T and the F has to be capitalized. So now let me show you an example of Boolean statement. So you see we have is true equals to true and is false equals to false. And then we want to print out true or false. So if you run this, you get true or false. So see, this is our Boolean. And this is how it would look like when you print it out. The step 2 is using Boolean expressions. And what do you mean by Boolean expression? It's an expression that when you evaluate it, you either get true or false. Like for example, if I say 5 is greater than 3. Yes, 5 is greater than 3. So that is true. Or 5 is equal to 5. That is true. For example, the first one, 5 is equal to 5. That is true. And you have not equal to, 5 is not equal to 3. That is true. And then 5 is greater than 3. That's true. 3 is less than 5. That's true. Or 5 is greater than or equal to 5. That is also true. So these are like comparison operators that we can use to determine Boolean expressions if they evaluate as true or false. Let me show you some example in code. We'll be using simple print statement. So we want to print that is 5 greater than 3. Obviously 5 is greater than 3. So that is true. Want to see is 5 equal to 3. And then if I run this, you see 5 equal to 3. 5 is not equal to 3, so that is false. And then what if I want to do 5 is not equal to 3? Obviously 5 is not equal to 3, so you run that and that becomes true. So this is how you can use comparison operators for your Boolean expression. Now the next step is logical operators. Logical operators are three. You have and, or not. So logical operators are used to combine Boolean values and expressions together. So and we start with and operator. When you use and, it means that the Boolean value will be true if both conditions are true. So for example, you say, oh, the person is 18 years old and the person is 1.8 meters tall. So if both conditions are true, that the person is truly 18 years old and the person is 1.8 meters, then the Boolean expression will be true. But if the person is, let's say, 19 years old and is also 1.8 meters, then one of the thing is false, so then it will be false. So let me show you how to use the and. So for example, say 5 is greater than 3 and 10 is less than 20. So both are true. So when I run this, we get true. So let's now imagine that this is 21. So say 21 is less than 20, which is false. So you see one of these is false. So then we get false. So and means both must be true at all times. And then you get true. Then the or operator is that one must be true. So let's still use the same that we got first in and. If we then change it to or, as you can see, 5 is greater than 3, but 21 is not less than 20. But we want that we are using the or statement, so that means one of it is true. And then we get true. If both are true, 10 is less than 20, we still get true. So at least one of the expression has to be true. Let me change this back to 21. So one has to be true and then you get true. Then the not operator. The not operator reverses the Boolean value. So if the thing is supposed to be true, it will reverse it and then you will get false in this case. A simple example would be this. So 5 is greater than 3, but then we're adding the not operator to it. So this is true, but then we'll get false because not operator, it reverses the Boolean value. So if your value is supposed to be true, it reverses it to false. And if it's supposed to be false, it reverses it to true. So this is true. 5 is greater than 3, but then with the not, it then reverses it to false. So these are the three logical operators, and all both statement has to be true for it to be true, or only one, at least one of the expression has to be true, and then you get a true. And then not, it gives you the reverse of the Boolean value of an expression. The fourth step is the Boolean in conditional expression, in conditional statements. So that means you often use Boolean in if statements to control the flow of a program. If you want to learn about if statements, I'm sure we have the video on one of these days, so you can check it out. So if you have a conditional statement, for example, we have an age of a person who is 20 years old, and then we want to check that is the person greater than or equal to 18, then we'll print that, oh, the person is an adult. And if it's, this is just like you printing true and then printing false. So this is a Boolean expression. So if this is true, then print this. And then if it's false, then print this. So you see, we have our age is 20, and then if age is greater than or equal to 18, it prints you an adult, otherwise it prints you a minor. If this age, if I reduce it to 15, for example, and then I run it, you see you're a minor. So if the age is greater than or equal to 18, the condition is true, and then the program prints you are an adult. So this is Boolean expression in conditional statements. What if we have Boolean expressions in loops? Booleans are also used in loop to control how long a loop would run. So this is an example of loops using Boolean expressions. So we have that the counter is 5, and while the counter is greater than 0, then we have to print it, and then we are decreasing the counter by 1. So you see, when it takes the counter, this is our initial value of our counter, and then it runs it through the while loop. And if this is true, it then continues. If it's not true, it stops. And then every time the counter goes through the while loop, we're decreasing the value by 1. That's why we have minus or equal to 1. If it is plus or equal to 1, that means every time the counter goes through the while loop, we're increasing the value by 1. So the first time the counter is 5, it goes through the while loop. 5 is greater than 0, and then we'll print the counter, and then we subtract 1. So then we have 4. And then 4 then goes through the while loop, and then it continues, and then 3 goes through the while loop until it gets to the point where we have a value that is not greater than 0. Then the counter stops. So if I print this, you see, we start with 5. 5 is greater than 0. We subtract 1. 4 is greater than 0. We subtract another 1. 3 is greater than 0. We subtract 1. And then it gets to 1. 1 is greater than 0. But then when we subtract 1, 0 is not greater than 0. 0 is equal to 0. So the loop will continue to run while the counter is greater than 0 is true. If you want to learn more about while loop, there's a video about while loops in the playlist. Then the final step is that you can combine multiple Boolean expressions together. You can have multiple Boolean expressions using logical operators. So here we have an age. The person is 25 and is employed. Yes, the person is employed. So if the person is greater than 18 and is employed, we'll say the person is eligible for a loan. So we're using the Boolean expression here. And then if the person is not, and again we're using an and. So both has to be true, not one. Both has to be true. So if we run this, we see that you're eligible for a loan because the person is 25, which is greater than 18, and the person is employed, which is true. So, and both has to be true. So it checks the person is an adult, it checks the person is employed, and both must be true for the program to print you are eligible for a loan. So this is simple way of explaining Boolean expressions in Python. And as usual, there are practice questions for you to try out and put your solution in the comment section. Let's talk about it together. And as always, the Jupyter notebook will be available in my GitHub, link in the description. That's it for this video. Do not forget to like, to subscribe, to share, and to leave a comment. And the link to the notebook that we worked on is available in my GitHub. Link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you tomorrow.